Thank you very much, Mr. Akwenye. Well, we will have a conversation with you, hopefully, with you as journalists, and I know some of you are politicians that are pretending to be journalists, but we'll still have conversations with you. I will read the statement as it is, and I'm told by our communication team that it is being broadcasted, and the Deputy Mayor is also here with me, the Chairperson of Management Committee is also here, and also the City Police colleagues are also here, and they will be making interventions. Members of Management Committee are also here who could make it. The Deputy Mayor, Chairperson of Management Committee, Honorable Councillors, the Executive, the residents of Windhoek, and members of the media, good afternoon. The horrifying events and scenes of yesterday, whereby homes were demolished, is an embodiment of collective failure to address the housing situation in our city. These events represent what has gone wrong with our moral fiber and is characterized by the lack of imagination, the impossibility of co-presence, and the paradigm of difference. To be clear, these events occurred without my knowledge as mayor. The Deputy Mayor and Chairperson of Management Committee were also accordingly unaware. As such, what occurred yesterday was not sanctioned by the political leadership of the Municipal Council of Windhoek. To an extent that individual councillors may have been aware, as some suspect, of the intended events, such awareness and events were not sanctioned by council. Although I was not aware, I take responsibility of the pain and suffering caused to the residents in the name of council, and on behalf of council, I apologize to the residents for the recklessness and irresponsible events that took place yesterday. This morning, I convened a consultative meeting attended by the Deputy Mayor, Chairperson of Management Committee, members of Management Committee, the Acting Chief Executive Officer, Corporate Legal Advisor, the Head of City Police, and Strategic Executive for Housing. At the said meeting, we discussed yesterday's demolition of homes and related matters. The critical issue that emanates from the consultative meeting is that large-scale demolition of homes will no longer occur without Council's knowledge. Although this consensus was reached, formal written communication to this effect will be provided to the Acting Chief Executive Officer and the Head of City Police in writing today. That the unfortunate events were celebrated by others is indicative of the dynamics at play at the Municipal Council of Windhoek. The residents are thus urged to analyze the events beyond what appears to the naked eye. It is evident that there are specific politicians whose plan and preoccupation is to isolate and individualize. That's why you see people go and write Amupanda as if Amupanda is the one who ran council alone. With a small cabal of associates, they seek to make the issue of landlessness about Amupanda this as if Amupanda has executive powers to make unilateral policy decision. It is thus no surprise that one repeatedly reads the honeymoon is over for Amupanda, pressure mounts for Amupanda. It is thus clear that the objective is not necessarily to address the issues facing our residents, but to isolate Amupanda and project that celebrity politicians are somehow not part of what is transpiring. Indeed, the objective is to frustrate and defocus this imaginary Amupanda in their hollow minds. Let me be very clear. The idea that land occupation and underhand tactics are to target Amupanda is foolishness. Such thoughtless and feeble minds are concerned with politics rather than addressing the concerns of our residents. The residents are thus informed that with 4 months left before the election of mayors, the jostling for positions has started. The theatrics we now witness by some members of council have nothing to do with the needs of our people. These are antics These antics are about positioning and projecting oneself as better than others. I've always been clear that for what I stand for, I'm prepared to be an ordinary councillor and will never succumb to somehow be placed in a position of begging for positions. I came to this council as a councillor and not as a mayor. It further goes without saying that all is not well at the Municipal Council of Windhoek. One of the key issues is resistance to change and administrative instabilities. The greater portion of our employees are still loyal to the old regime and continue to retreat to dark corners to organize with those who lost power. Those who lost power are not happy and are nostalgic for the power they once had. Those who are subjected to disciplinary and accountability processes are fighting back, collaborating with those who lost power and those who seek power. Instead of submitting proposals to solve the problems of the residents, their preoccupation is to sabotage and block initiatives that address the challenges our people face. The same political celebrities masquerading on the side of the poor are the ones who voted down the mayoral plan that had a program to organize communities to better address their problems. There is no single idea brought by this celebrity politician thirsty for the return to power in our council, apart from mobilizing others to vote down ideas brought by the leadership. Although we are aware of these occurrences in political tactics, we cannot use this as excuses. We must address the issues at hand during our time. Therefore, in line with the Local Authority Act and its subsequent rules and regulation, it is hereby announced that a special Council on Land and Housing is slated for 5 of August 2021. At this special council, the matters will be tabled for discussion and approval. These are, just to mention a few, the relocation center to decongest the informal settlements, the controlled entry into the informal settlements, city-owned township development, affordable housing policy, the municipality waiting list, the municipality satellite offices in the informal settlements, and many others, rollout plan for informal settlement upgrading, and the housing in Daba that is slated for August 2021. The residents are called to closely monitor the discussion at this special council and see what happens to proposals meant to solve challenges beyond theatrics. This special council will be live streamed, and I will explore possibilities to have this meeting broadcasted on radio. Despite these interventions, I have no doubt that those opposed to our activities and programs will continue with their underhand tactics. I must thus make it clear that should the measures to solve the residents' problem be approved by the special council and similar incidences occur, we will no longer respond to what the authorities do. These events are a clarion call for those forming what is now happening on these theatrics. These events are a clarion call to those forming a coalition in the city to urgently convene and reorganize at the highest level given the recent shenanigans. Although it's projected to be the pressure on Amupanda, the target is to delegitimize each political party and association forming part of the coalition. Do not think for a moment that when a mayor from your political party takes office, these theatrics will stop. It is either we organize or continue to respond to the theatrics of the political thirsty. We are committed to addressing issues at hand in an organized manner and will not entertain sinister tactics aimed at outmaneuvering council's effort. Therefore, let me make it categorically clear that a thorough investigation into councillor's conduct pertaining to any attempt to undermine council's effort to render effective and efficient service delivery will face the full wrath of the provision as stated in the Code of Conduct. And these are just some of the provisions that you find there. Regulation 2, subsection 2A says that a member may not use confidential information obtained in the course of his or her duties for his or her own personal gain or for the gain of any other person, and he or she must respect the confidentiality of documents and information relating to council. Regulation 3A says a member must place the interest of council before his or her own interest and avoid private undertakings that interfere with the optimum delivery of business of council, and must, if he or she is with regards to a particular matter not be able to do that, abstain from participating in the matter in his or her capacity as a member. 3G, a member must at all times strive to enhance the image of council. As chairperson of council, I will in future ensure that members of council are required to strictly adhere to the provisions of the code of conduct. In addition, any conduct that is perceived to compromise any laws or policy of council will not be tolerated. As chairperson, I will use all legal means available to my disposal that such members are held accountable. To the residents, those who are genuinely concerned must hereby be rest assured that we will attend to your issues. To those part of the deceitful tactics, think of what ultimate result will be for you. To the power-thirsty political celebrities, you will fail. To the friends of Windhoek, our housing problem remains, and we again call upon you to help to jointly solve the problems of our people. So this is the official statement, just for the purpose of record, on this specific issue. We're quite very serious about what is happening and what is going on. And we are not going to be coerced by anybody. Whether you are collaborating with whoever you are collaborating with, we are very clear in terms of a program of action. When somebody connives with journalists and tell them that there were 100 houses that has been demolished, and you are a member of council, and you know that as a matter of fact, there is nothing like that, it is a problem. We are going to sit with a serious problem, because you can't be a member of council and go and communicate things that are not accurate. It's against the code. You create a serious problem, and there are provisions in this thing. When the police is busy with investigating confidential matters that are supposed to be dealt with in terms of the Local Authority Act, there is a specific conduct that you're supposed to conduct yourself. So of course we've been very friendly and kind over the past few months, because we wanted everybody just to find their feet, but we seem to be taken for granted. There's a gentleman from the police. Can you take off your glasses? It's dark. You won't be able to see. Yes. Oh, very good. Yeah, wonderful. You can sit down. Okay. So all those things that seems to undermine our efforts. So what we are trying to do with this statement is to be very clear. I'm not going to run, and we are not going to run council with a gun on our head. We are not going to have a situation where a person here, when the mayor is in a meeting or a mayor cannot attend, then you say you only want to see a mayor, you only want to see Job, and you don't want to see the deputy mayor. If you don't want to see the deputy mayor, then you don't want to see me. This council is not just run by, you can't say that you don't want to see the CEO. The operating procedure is that if the CEO is unable to help you in the problems that you are facing, then you are able to say that I went to the administration is not going to help me, that's why I'm coming to your office. So let's be very clear here. There are not going to be any theatrics to say somehow twist his hands, we just want to see Job. You can write and say whatever it is that you want to do. You make the entire city of Windhoek about Job, but we will never be coerced. We will be focused and do what we need to do. That's one hand. On the other hand, we are also saying the legitimate concerns of our people. That's why we are acknowledging the failure, collective failure. The informal settlements cannot be decongested because the previous council voted down the decongestion. The land has been identified, Inochomise, they voted it down. That's why we are sitting with those problems that we are sitting with. Yet you are the first one to go and somehow project yourself in those communities, collaborating with whoever that you are collaborating with. So we are going to address those problems of our people, because we are not in the habit of saying, next time when you are going to the cashier, and you are having a problem with the cashier, for you to pay your money, you with your collaborator says that, no, I don't want to see the cashier, I want to see Job. Because that's where we are going to say that you no longer want to see the cashier to deal with those problems that are there. You will will say that tomorrow you need to pay your ticket. You no longer want to see the people who are paying your ticket. Tomorrow you have an advertising tender. You no longer want to see the manager of communication. You want to see job. So this is not some small Anyana operation here, where you just say that you want to see job. We are running a serious organization with a serious framework. The problems of housing, we acknowledge 100%. The pain and suffering our people experience, we acknowledge 100%. And that's why we are calling for a special council. Usually they are just councils that are called. We are calling for a special council on land and housing to deal specifically with all those matters. But of course, it is going to put to shame those whose preoccupation is to mobilize. Because we see them on social media and even on groups, some people who are supposed to be councillors in this council who are saying, we have done very well. Let's keep doing that so that 2024 is fine. Yeah, we have it on record when people are communicating like that. So when those things happen the way they happen, so we are going to be focused because we know what we know. Our intelligence is providing us with necessary information. The city police has been doing very well when we understand exactly. Some members of the community are also telling us that no, there was a meeting last night that this is what we must do. We have already spoken to journalists so and so, they are going to appear there first. So even those shenanigans that are happening there, we are very clear that we cannot run away from the problems that our people are facing. We have to face those problems heads on, because so that we are able to put to shame those whose concern is to see us fail. We will call a special council and we want it to be broadcasted live, because when people are just in those community or in their newsroom, they never come here and actually see what is happening to the proposals that are meant to benefit the people. You can't come to council and reject this very same proposal and you go out and say there's nothing is happening, and you mobilize journalists and you mobilize the people at night. So we encourage everybody to see the discussion and the deliberation. Why is it that nobody ever asking that what proposal did you give to the council to address problems that our people are facing? So we are on course. Those things are going to be happening, and they keep happening all the time. You see, apparently, even sometimes you analyze a video, a person who's renting a flat in Kleine Coupe goes to Tobias Anyeko and Ochomise apparently to occupy land. They are landless. A teacher, a HOD, apparently goes and occupy land. 3 weeks ago, there was plots in Kleine Coupe, I think about 100 of them, isn't it? Yeah? It's about 100 plots that were given. No one is talking about it, because that's not the interest. The interest is to isolate Amupanda to an extent that some people don't even know the names. If you ask some of the journalists, Meloide, what is his name? His name? You understand? That is the nature of the crisis. Councillor Wapingene is a member of management committee. Journalists don't even know because of this obsession and over-concentration on Amupanda. So I will invite you to come and see the meetings and come and check the deliberation, so that you understand what actually happens to ideas that are projected here. We come in this, the mayor cannot do anything if something is voted down. It's easier to say, people come here, we say, we want the community to organize themselves so that the city, so that the city has the names of everybody in a particular community. A person votes down an idea like that. Tomorrow they go out and say, nothing is happening, this is terrible. We say that with the city police, we are going to have a program to go to the communities, working with the city police, to smoothen the relationship between the city police and the residents is voted down. Yet the same person goes to the community and say that apparently they have never seen something like that. So let me make it absolutely clear. If we are running programs and we apparently have to lose votes, to say Job was here in Babylon, I was never in Babylon campaigning. Who saw me in Babylon campaigning? If we were in Babylon campaigning, would we have 2 seats as AR? So why don't you go to your same councillors of your party and ask them, what ideas have they brought here? What can a mayor do with 2 seats? So, but that's not how we reason. We decided we cannot reason like that. We are going to serve all the residents whether they voted for us or not. And the question of whether a person voted for this person or not is not the issue. I'm not going to help you because you have voted for me. And it's actually a cheap and lazy argument to say, I voted for you, therefore do this for me. Even the person who has not voted for me, a young man in 2020 who was 17, who did not have a card to vote, is now 18. Are we saying because they didn't vote for us, we must not attend to them? It's a cheap and lazy way of looking at things. So this contradiction and these tensions that the city police is something that we already foresaw. We wanted to intervene and say, let's have program with the city police. That came from the city police, and the city police said that we need the mayor's support in these things, voted down by the same Kahungu and others. Why is it that they don't go out there and communicate the very same message to say that it has been rejected? If there are problem of housing, how is it possible that you would go and celebrate something like that? So we will then have an engagement. I'll give